So today we're starting lesson 10-5, area of parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. And for this, it's going to be very important that you write down your formula, your numbers in your formula, and the answer. You need to really show your work here. Make sure you understand it. First of all, find the area of parallelograms. So this is a parallelogram. We talked about this yesterday, where these two sides are parallel and these two sides are parallel. And so they're giving you information of what the base is and what the height of that is. And so the formula for a parallelogram is area equals the B, bottom, base, times the height of the parallelogram. And so there's your formula, area equals base times height. You substitute the two numbers in there, 3 times 3, and you get 9. And this is meters, so it's going to be 9 meters squared, or 9 square meters. So that's the area of a parallelogram formula, so make sure you write that down. Then we move on to the next one. And now instead of having the height on the outside, it's actually in the middle here. And often they'll have a little 90-degree angle with it, and if they don't, that's fine. If they just show arrows, you know that's the height, you know that's the base. The difference here is we're working with decimals, but it's the same kind of idea. Area equals base times height. We multiply the two numbers together and get 26.66, and that would be square meters. So that's the area of a parallelogram, which is very similar to the area of a rectangle. Same kind of formula. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and see if you can find the answer to these two questions. Pause the video, try them out. But when you do this, make sure that you put your formula, the numbers in the formula, and the answer, because each one of these questions will be worth 3 points on a quiz or a test. All right, and so here are the answers. 12 centimeters squared for A, and B is 1.95 square feet. The next formula that you need to know is the area of a triangle. The area of the triangle, here it's a 90-degree angle, so we have the height here and we have the base here. Okay, and the only difference with the triangle, because it's half of a rectangle, you do base times height divided by 2. They show it as 1/2 base times height. I would, this is what I like to do, is instead of putting this 1 here, I'll just go base times height and then divide it by 2. But that's up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I like the base times height and then divide by 2. So you punch in your numbers. For base it's 3, and for height it's 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 gives you the answer, which is 6. So the area of the triangle is 6 square meters. You'll notice whenever you're trying to find area, you're always squaring the units. Okay, here's another example. Now you'll notice that it's always going to have a 90-degree angle to show you the height of the triangle. And so this one's 3.9 for the base, and the height is 6.4. So you put in your formula. Again, if you want to do base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 times base times height, same thing. Multiply your numbers, divide by 2, and you get 12.48. So there's your answer, 12.48 square feet. And now it's your turn. Go ahead and try to find the area of each of these triangles. Remember, again, write down your formula. And again, this is what I mean. This is the formula that I like to use. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Okay? But you can also use area equals 1/2 base times height. It's the same formula. I just like to use this one. So go ahead and pause it, do your questions, and see how you do. And your answers, the first triangle, you should have got 90 inches squared, and the second one would be 9.36 centimeters squared. All right, the next formula you need to know is the area of the trapezoid. You'll notice on the trapezoid we have the height, so that's going to be simple. But we have a bottom number, which is 7.5, and we have a top number, which is 5 1/4. The 5 1/4 is going to be considered your A, and the 7 1/2 is going to be considered your B. And here's the formula, and this is the way it looks. It is 1/2 H, which is the height, and times A plus B. Okay? Now again, you can do H with A plus B in parentheses divided by 2, or you can leave it this way, it's up to you. Substitute the numbers in, and before you can do anything, you have to add the 5 1/4 and the 7 1/2. Can't add them until they have a common denominator, which would be 4, so this would become 2 fourths, so you get 3 fourths, 12 3/4. Then you have to multiply that by 6. And what they're doing here is they're cross-reducing. You could do that, or you could have changed this right away to 51/4 and cross-reduce that way. Either way, it will work. And when you end up with your final answer, you get 153/4. Put that back into a mixed number, mixed fraction, and you get 38 1/4. Okay, how did we get it to 51/4? 4 times 12 is 48, plus 3 is 51. How did we go from 153/4 to 38? You ask yourself, how many times does 4 go into 153? It goes in 38 times, and there's 1 left over out of 4. So hopefully that helps you. So there's the area, 38 1/4 square meters. And now it's your turn. Go ahead and see if you can find this. Remember, the bottom one I always call the B, the top one the A. Doesn't matter which one is which, but I just like to do it B for bottom, A is the other one, and then your height would be 5. And again, here's the way that formula looks. If you're doing it my way, you have height, A plus B, all of it divided by 2. I like to write it that way. But again, it also works this way. If you want to do that, it's fine. Okay, either formula will work for trapezoid. Choose which one you like to use and go ahead and use it. All right, see if you can get this answer. And the answer to this one is 20 square feet. All right, and now example number 4, we're getting into problem solving questions. It says a wall that needs to be painted is 16 feet wide and 9 feet tall. There's a doorway that is 3 feet by 8 feet and a window that's 6 by 5.5. What's the area to be painted? Well, we're not gonna paint the doorway and we're not gonna paint the window. So we're gonna find the total area of it all, and then we're gonna subtract the doorway, which is a rectangle. We're gonna subtract the window, which is a rectangle. And remember, this is a 16 by 9 rectangle as well. So this is gonna be basically 3 steps to this. All right, so you're gonna find the area of the wall by using base times height because it was a rectangle. So 16 times 9 and you get 144. Then you're gonna do the area of the door. Remember that was a rectangle. 3 times 8, which is 24. And then the window, which was also a rectangle, base times height. 6 times 5.5 and you get 33. Now, you have 144 as the total wall, but we have to subtract the 24 and we have to subtract the 33. And when we do that, we get 87 square feet needs to be painted. Why would you do that? Because then you can go to the store, go over to Home Depot, wherever, and say, hey, I have 87 square feet, how much paint do I need to buy? Because sometimes you can buy too much paint, so you want to have extra paint left over, but you want to make sure you have enough. So here's your turn. Go ahead and write out the whole question, all right? Make sure you get it all down, and once you have it all written down, then you're going to want to go ahead and solve the question. But a garden needs to be covered with fresh soil. The garden is 12 feet wide and 15 feet long, so it's a rectangle. A rectangular concrete path, so it tells you right away 3 by 15 is going through the middle. Find the area of the garden which needs to be covered with fresh soil. So you're going to be subtracting that path that's running through the middle. So this is only 2 equations that you have to do for this one. Okay, and they're both rectangles, so there's a helpful hint. Go ahead and pause the video once you have this all written down. Or pause it and then write it down, and then go ahead and solve it and see how you do. And if you should end up coming to this answer, which is 135 square feet. And that's the end of lesson 10-5.